guy's Tony Khan.
So Gabe Kidd disrespects. He spits on Willow Nightingale. And this, man, we had people making Zapruder films. Like, you got awful there. Look, no spit actually landed, you triggered Mark. Listen, I tweeted out too. I'm like, they're a literal, like, Neo Moxley clan, you know? Like, what do you expect he's going to do? Like, this only furthers the point. And then when you have Sap and all these idiots, they're not even like a racialist clan. That was just made up. No, it wasn't. It's quoting directly the movie, dressing directly like the characters, directly texting Brian Alvarez Brian Alvarez directly texted Mox and asked him what the situation was. And he told him. So to me, I'm like, yeah, what do you think they're going to do? But this company's cooked. Like, of course they're going to do like this. You know, they have zero taste. And I get it. Well, they're heels. That's what they're supposed to do. If WWE doesn't make Carmelo Hayes world champion and they get called racialist. If WWE did this, all the same people would be having meltdowns, bro. It would be DEFCON 5. So again, it's not to play whataboutism and all this, but it's like, what do you expect? They're a Yahtzee clan. Oh, no, it's not that. Yeah, that's what it is. And that's why Gabe fully skin-headed up. Like fresh shave for both shows. Right? But yeah, it is what it is. I mean, this didn't like overly trigger me, but it's just like, these guys are cooked, man. What do you think they're going to do? It's just rage baiting. That's all their fans do, and that's all they really have left. So both Anna Jay and Harley Cameron have suffered potential broken noses during their match on Dynamite. Apparently, one of them was like a worked spot, but it's like, okay, but her nose really got busted. So I don't know. And we got busted noses with Chelsea Green, and it's like, this match was on the pre-show of a pay-per-view. Anna Jay gets hurt all the time because I'm going to be honest, and I love Anna Jay, but she's sloppy shop because she's not like the worst wrestler in the world, but she doesn't wrestle enough consistently, and because she keeps getting hurt and she's so young in her career. Leave AEW. Go to NXT or tell Tony, I'm just going to manage my boyfriend and manage Jack Perry. Like, don't even wrestle anymore for sakes until you get out of here and you can do it safely. Because Anna Jay's getting like power bombed off stages, hitting her head, wrecking her knee, breaking her nose, all this it's just like, can we just not hurt like Sky Blue and like these upcoming talents? Like, holy man. And it's happened too. You see what happens to some of these wrestlers, like in WWE. We've seen it when some of these development talent get hurt too much. And that's like in WWE where they're not going as fucking crazy all the time. They're ramping it up more now. WWE's starting to go like a lot crazier with their matches, like especially on their big events, man, like in NXT and shit. So, but still far less botchy. But I just apparently Harley Cameron's taking time off. I just hope they're both okay. And yeah, Chelsea Green got a busted nose too from Zelina. I mean, you guys already know how I feel about Zelina. So we have a clip here from our guy Conan that I want to play for you guys, and it's not overly long, and it's disco, of course, as well. And shout out my guy Husey for sending me this one for the show. Allegedly, Tony Khan has made Chris Jericho a huge contractual offer. My guess is Jericho's staying with AEW. Fozzy seems to be playing much smaller venues than usual. So it might be wise to just end that entirely, which is pretty crazy. They could just play their boat show, though. Boats and hoes. Gotta have me, my boats and hoes. Being in WWE would massively raise Jericho's profile again. Did you hear about the Eddie Trunk interview? And then I got sent this clip. So there you go. I just pretty much stooged who sent me that there. But this is what we're hearing. And I was told, not sure if that's out yet. Could be a couple days. So
allegedly.
Make sure you guys sub to K100 because I don't know if that's out yet, but it'll be out. And so shout out my guy Husey. He'll be on tomorrow. I cannot wait. Anyways, though, let's listen to this clip. Apparently, Tony Khan got mad or could have gotten mad, or Jericho was like, I don't know. He had this interview with this guy named Eddie Trunk who like fully didn't know what AEW was. And Conan explains this from a different perspective, from a perspective you wouldn't think of the wrestler. Like, you know, he says, well, you guys will hear it. I'll hit a Conan and we'll break it down because I love Konan's perspective on this. And Jericho's going through this for sure as well. And this is proof of it with his interview with Eddie Trunk. And this could be incentive for him to want to go back to WWE as well. But Jericho's such a mark for Jericho. I mean, yeah, Jericho is a mark for Jericho. But Tony Khan is such a mark for Jericho. He will like back up the money train for him, you know? So to me, I argued this to Husey. I said, listen, bro, Jericho has all the money in the world, though. Maybe he's looking at what WWE's doing and he just wants to be a part of it. But remember when everyone is like, Jericho signed till he's like 61 and shit. Nay, good sir. Husey again came on this show and was like, nah, none of that shit's true. That was a long time ago, by the way, and he was right again. So Husey's allegedlys they can be hit or miss, but he's been stroking as of late, bro. Big time.
Daniel French is interesting. Subject is Eddie Trunk. The great Chris Jericho recently made his return to the Eddie Trunk podcast.
Who?
He's a music reporter, Disco.
Who?
Before you start freaking out. And, oh boy, was it a car crash. First of all, Eddie thought that Jericho was retired from the wrestling business.
That's
Jericho
great.
mentioned that he worked for AEW. Eddie's response was, what's AEW?
Yeah, Eddie's response was, who?
Response was, what's AEW? And throughout the rest of the interview, Trunk referred to it as AWE. The best part, I think the interview went live or something because he took calls from fans and wrestling-related questions, and they were all about WWE. At no point did Jericho defend AEW from the criticism of his or do his usual shill act. My question is, do you think this will get Jericho heat with Tony Khan? I mean, at no point at all during the entire 90 minutes that it seemed as if AEW or AWE, AEW should be something we're checking out.
Yeah, so he kept calling it AWE, which is hilarious. And then you have this guy asking, do you think it could get heat with Jericho, with Tony Khan? No, it won't do that. But listen to how Konnan explains this shit. This is brilliant.
Plus, when you hear all these reports that Jericho's in a contract year, it seems
I guess Disco's going to keep going as he does.
The exact sort of stuff teenager Khan would take personally. Or am I wrong here? P.S. A lot of people hate on Harry Ruiz being on the show, and while he may be a tough listen, at least he was willing to call out Disco's speed mumbling through the AEW reviews. Disco, I love you, but you reading other people's reports is really hard to listen to, especially with the audio.
Well, you gotta remember.
Why does everybody think this is,
You gotta remember, Disco's brain goes forward, so
right.
He can't help it.
Right.
Because he's kind of speed reading and speed talking at the same time.
Correct. That is funny about Jericho. He's not going to get any heat from.
Let me tell you.
I doubt there's a crossover.
Bro, let me tell you what the problem is right now with Jericho. The same problem I used to have. I would walk down airports and people would ask me, "Hey man, are you still wrestling?" And I'd go, "No, I'm in TNA." And they'd be like, "What's that?" Well, you can find it on this channel. Like they didn't give a. And and immediately, "Hey man, where's Rey Mysterio? Hey, the Wolfpack." They want to talk about WCW. And I bet you a lot of people don't even know what AEW is or that he's in it. And I guarantee you that he gets stopped a lot and going, "Hey man, when are you coming back to wrestling?" "Well, I am wrestling at AEW." No, WWE. I think that Tony won't do anything because he's a huge mark for him and he doesn't want to upset him. But I do think that Chris Jericho will finish his career in WWE.
Boom. I agree. And I've always maintained that.
He's never told me this. I just think that that's where he'll end it.
And Konnan and Jericho are tight, so just remember that as well. That's an epic little clip. And shout out Eddie Trunk. I guess I don't really know who he is as well. Okay, so here's the Awfuls breakdown of Gabe Kidd's this whole Zapruder film. Like, this just, the IWC, man, they're cooking lately. What can I say? It's summer. Everyone's losing their shit. They're getting all hot and bothered, and did this piss you off? Well, it was supposed to. He's a heel doing heel shit, right? So it's supposed to piss you off. So yeah, I'll say yes, okay? The crowd booed, so yes, it pissed everyone off. And then, look closely. No actual spit. Yeah, it's a work, so it's pro wrestling. And we're working awful, right? So you see that a lot too, where a wrestler, they lost a tooth. It's their gum or whatever, right? So it was a fake spit. It was still a spit, though, right? Awful's just a sicko, man. He's just defending AEW at any cost.
Absolute disrespect there from
Willow never wipes her face, her arms, or chest. Well, when you she'll have to wipe her back once I'm true with her. Oh, go, go, go.
Gabe Kidd spitting into the face of Willow Nightingale. Willow.
Not even after this pearl necklace. Oh. Don't feel bad. You got worked. Yeah, that's the whole point of pro wrestling. Fucking awful, man. Oh, that's my guy. I'll give it a like, man, for the editing efforts. Yeah, bro, that's the wrestling show. That's the whole point. AEW Dynamite ratings also saw an uptick. So all wrestling shows pretty much seeing a bit of an uptick from last week. So the show averaged 636K viewers, up 11%, losing to NXT, though. That was at 650, not including Netflix or anything, with a 0.16, 18-4. Per WrestleNomics, as always, these numbers don't include Max. Year over year, Dynamite was down 19%, though. And the ratings were down 36% in the key demo. And that's the real thing we need to be looking at, is like year over year. And we can't be focused on, oh, they got a big bump in recent weeks. And it's like, it's 630. It's like, bro, that is not good. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to get it back to 850 to 1 million. I remember when it was like 850 and I was like, man, I don't know, 850. Like, I mean, that's not, you can't even defend that shit anymore. Like, it's just plummeting year over year. The key demo is down 36% as well. And, you know, Meltzer loved to harp on, flip-flop on its overall viewership. Oh, it's key demo that matters, right? He flip-flopped on that, and now he still brings up the key demo, but shit like Netflix and Max and shit, they don't care about the key demo, like 18 to 49. I don't even think they look at that, bro. Yeah, it's just the industry's has moved these people on by to a degree. I mean, this information's still cool to know, I suppose, but just it's down 36%. That's crazy. That's almost 40. So that's a big problem that the year before the key demo was like, fuck this. Oh, basketball. You're an idiot. But yeah, shout out Raj there, and shout out Dynamite. They got a little uptick, I guess, right? But it's just like the 700,000 sickos, they're boiled down to them. They got their 750,000 sickos. That's who's watching the show. So a report, people within AEW were furious with Kyle Fletcher over the botched apron powerbomb to Adam Cole. And as last show we played it. I showed you the botch and it was fucking horrific. So Cultaholic here, Brian Alvarez. We have a trying Brian here. So let me play a Brian for you guys.
Brian.
Okay, so as reported on the Observer Live, he says that I can tell you today, I'm sure I'll hear about this all afternoon, but there were a lot of people furious at Fletcher because, like, at the end of the day, whatever you want to do is whatever you guys agree to do and everything like that. But Adam Cole has had a history of head injuries. No shit. He's had concussions. And head injuries. So, well, you know, whatever you guys agreed to do. So where's the producer or the agent or the leadership back there to go, Adam, I don't give a fuck that you agreed to do this. For instance, in a fight, people throw the towel in. It's up to the corner. Sometimes a fighter will train their whole life for a fight, or a marathon runner will train their whole life, spend a year or years training for a moment, and then collapse and die because they don't want to give up on themselves. That's why you have coaches and trainers and shit, to fucking look out and protect them. And you have referees and stuff to make sure people don't do that. Athletes will push themselves to death. They will fucking do that, especially the ones with that mentality of like, no, I'm going to win. That Kobe, that Black Mamba shit, I'm going to fucking win. That Michael Jordan shit, they will flu game your ass. They will go to the death, bro. And it doesn't matter what sport it's in. And so Adam Cole isn't going to turn down Fletcher's mark shit. He wants to seem like the cool unk at the fucking, yeah, I used to do stuff like that. No, but for real though. So someone has to step in and go, no, you're not doing that. Oh, but I want to. Well, you're not. And if you do it, I'll fucking fine you. Boom. Ends it right there. Oh, but then he'll be mad at me. Then he's mad at you, bro. Okay. He'll get over it, bro. When that fucking paycheck clears, he'll get over it, you know? You have to be careful, not just with Cole, but anybody's head. There were a lot of people very unhappy with Fletcher because, like, what was he thinking? I don't have an answer. Yes, you have the answer, Brian. the wrestlers in AEW are not trained properly and they're fucking marks for their own shit. And they just want to do crazy shit to impress Tony Khan to get raises and get bigger pushes. They don't give a fuck about anything else, but I have to get my crazy moves in. So I'm going to tombstone you off the apron to the outside, and then I'm going to tombstone you off the middle rope, and then you're going to kick out. Then I'm going to hidden blade you. Then you're going to kick out. Then I'm going to hidden blade you. Then you're going to duck it. Then you're going to hit your finisher. Then I'm going to kick out. Then I'm going to hit my twisting finisher, and then an Oz cutter, and then you're going to reverse into a fucking tombstone, and then I'm going to kick out, because we're doing like 500 dump you on your head moves in a match. It's on fucking Dynamite. That should be a write you off TV angle that starts a big, huge feud. You power bomb me on my neck on the apron. But instead, it's a transitionary move where Excalibur goes, and he was and that, oh my God, and AEW presents. You know what that means. Adam Cole, crazy maneuver, Fletcher, the proto-star, It's fucking embarrassing, man. Moving along. Tony Khan says he's interested in introducing AEW Women's Tag Team Championships. So he definitely shouldn't do that because he can't even book two women's divisions that well, especially not the TBS one. But I mean, it'll keep ladies busy, I guess. I don't know. Clearly, he's going in that direction. He's teamed up Anna Jay and Harley Cameron, and he's trying to figure out, like, you know, Penelope and Megan Bain. He's trying to figure out ladies to pair together, but they need to stay healthy. People can't just have hardcore, whatever the fuck matches all the time, you know? Yeah, and you can't be breaking, like, these hot chicks' fucking noses when they're in their 20s and or whatever. Maybe Harley Cameron's a little older than that, but it's like they're trying to get their feet under them. They can't do it when they're getting hurt and shit. So moving along here. Mercedes Monea, we read that was a long time ago. So people within AEW, we just read that. They're mad at fucking Fletcher. MVP says personal issues led to him having zero respect for Triple H. Guys, if you're listening to this in a clip form after the fact, I talked about this in WWE News, so go find that video. Abaddon. So we have more people than just Mariah May. Well, let's circle back to that, actually, okay? So Bully Ray blasts AEW women's no DQ match too fucking much. Slams producers for lack of protection and botched finish. And, of course, people will say, oh, well, he's paid by the Fed. But no, they both have busted up ass noses. Well, what about Chelsea Green? Okay, that was a freak once in a lifetime thing. Not once in a lifetime, but that was a freak thing where the 2-in-1 match is crazy, but also nobody got then like power bombed on their neck on the apron after. Like, you guys get what I'm saying? It's just like a lot of shit is going on there. And then also Zelina, I'm not going to defend Zelina. You guys know. There's like 10 people in NXT you could fucking rate higher than her. Sorry, not even trying to be a hater. I like Zelina. I'd have her on my roster too. She'd be employed if I had a wrestling company. But I'm just saying, like, her as US champ, not really here for that. So here's Alfred Konuwa talking about Tony Khan responding to the sickos, okay, and Mina Shirakawa's music and whatnot. Let's take a look at This Is Nasty Pro Wrestling Bits. Good friend of the show, Alfred Konuwa, Forbes writer, stand-up extraordinaire.
Oh my God, an AEW skinhead spit on a black woman, you guys. Can you believe
that
it?
was, there you go. I didn't even watch this. I just bookmarked it. That was my energy too. Oh my God, guys, like, what do you expect? You know, this company's fucking legit cook, bro. Like, they will do anything. Like, this is like, okay, par for the course. Anyways, let's.
Oh my God, an AEW skinhead spit on a black woman, you guys. Can you believe it? Yes. What else are they there to do?
Yeah, exactly.
Have you been paying attention? They're literally called Dean Clanbros in the Whitepool Combat Club. Okay, that's only what I've been calling them for the last year now, and it's true. Lest we forget, 4 days before Ku Klux Kid spit on Willow Nightingale, Dean Clanbros chained this black woman to a post at Clanarchy in the arena. This is
Clanarchy in the arena.
Skinhead stable. I'm not here to litigate whether it's right or wrong to put skinheads on TV. In fact, I'm all for controversial gimmicks if they're good, but I'll make fun of it if the gimmick sucks. And this gimmick sucks. I'll give it 1 month before they burn an X in front of Willow's locker, which is totally not clan behavior because the clan burns crosses. Why does everything have to be about race? These sicko supremacists cyberbullied Tony Khan when they heard new music from Mina Shirakawa, and that man-child backed down to those bottom feeders and changed it so fast. But when a black woman is getting spit on and chained up by skinheads, Tony Khan's Twitter suggestion box stays
in Minecraft, of course, YouTube.
emptier than the hard camera side on Collision and the women's bathroom in the building. That's just another Wednesday in AEW. It's not foul play. To some of these sickos, it's foreplay. And
Shout out. Yeah, it just sucks your soul out of it. You're like, fuck, man. So again, we caught these sickos. Dave Meltzer's like, the Google metrics for Double or Nothing was blah, blah, blah. And then you look it up and the top search was AEW, watch AEW Double or Nothing free, AEW Double or Nothing stream free. And so Dave Meltzer had this to say, that the estimate for the pay-per-view buys is between 122K and 130K buys per the Observer. Now, do you guys remember on this show? I need someone to like bring up clips of me saying shit that we already said, okay? That we already disproved or debunked or showcased that was bullshit. So when AEW was when they're like, our pay-per-views on Amazon the last time, Meltzer was like, I think they'll do 30% more. Just like he says, they do 30% more on Max, just like he says about 30% of his audience that he polled watches on Max. Just like he says that he said that 30% of the audience, I don't know, about 30% of the audience was cheering for him, cheers MJF and shit. This is literally what he says. He just said the other day, oh, they'll take, I don't know, like 3,000 buys away from AEW when he's talking about NXT. He's fixated on this like 30%, 3,000, there's something about, he's just timesing everything by 30 or something. I have no idea how this happened in his fucking brain, but just follow along. I've been covering this. This isn't like me over exaggerating. There's probably more examples of 30% that I just can't think of off the top of my head that I've chronicled here. Okay. Coming out of the top of the year, the start of the year, right? Meltzer was talking about how the pay-per-views were around like 100,000 or whatever, but they will likely do 130,000 because they're going to be on Amazon for whichever pay-per-view it was. Not the last one, but the one before, I think, right, guys? He's like, I think they'll get 30% from Amazon, people watching on Amazon. And everyone was like, hold on, dude, who watches pay-per-view on Amazon? And then on this last one, they're on Fubo. There was like 12 different places to buy it. It was spread so thin, and you had a bunch of people online going, we can't watch it on Triller. Wait, it's not on Triller? How am I going to watch? Because they all of a sudden last minute too, like they weren't even telling their audience, like, look, guys, we're not on Triller and it's not on Max. Their PLEs aren't on Max for some fucker. Pay-per-views aren't on Max for some fucking reason. Terrible. Like it's not looking up. But Meltzer, all he did was added 30% to what the real number is. So the real number, as I fucking tweeted out, is likely 90 to 100,000. Okay. Because he just keeps adding 30%. And he did that with Amazon as well when he talked about how the buys at the end of 2024, Brian Alvarez asked him, he's like, well, what did Dynasty do or whatever at the end of 2024? And he was like, about 100,000, 110,000 or whatever. And then he said, what do you think this next pay-per-view will do? And then Dave was like, I think with Amazon, it'll do about 30% more, like 130,000 or whatever. He just adds 30%. In my estimation, Meltzer saw whatever the real numbers are and is just adding 30% based off of the invisible Amazon / we don't know what Fubo TV did. That's where he's coming up with this number. I assure you of this. I hope I did a good job re-explaining all that. I probably didn't, because it's been so long that I've just been, and don't worry, we catch you up here at PWT. We don't leave you hanging in the dark. We've been covering this. You can go back in my past shows, just look up 30%. I don't know, maybe people can find it if they re-listen to old shit, my clips. You'll see what I'm talking about. He keeps doing this. So the real number is likely 30% less of whatever the fuck Dave's saying here. I'm very, very, very much inclined to think that's the case. Okay. Like I've convinced myself of that. So that would put it between 3% to 7% from last year's version. If that number holds, that would make it every 2025 AEW pay-per-view being down from last year's edition. And the sixth AEW pay-per-view in a row that is down from the prior year's edition, with All Out last September being the last one that was up year over year, although it had an extra week's build from the prior year. Well, who cares about that? But do you guys see what I'm saying? Like, the trend of their pay-per-view isn't trending upwards, but now that Dave can go, well, Amazon adds 30%, he can just say this now, and the fucking sickos will run with this. I bet it did less than 100,000 buys. I'm willing to bet that, like actual buys. And yeah, I talked about it. As I've chronicled on my live shows, Dave Meltzer literally adds 30%. He's done this innumerable times. Plus, according to Dave's own Google Trend Analytics research, Double or Nothing was being illegally streamed maybe more than any other AEW pay-per-view before. Now, I was being like salacious at the end, maybe more than any other one. I don't know. I bet you All In, like Wembley, probably got illegally streamed more than this, but you guys know what I mean. Like, more people are, because Dave was like, oh, there was a huge increase. Like, there was such an interest in Double or Nothing, in people searching Double or Nothing. Well, they did that because they were looking for illegal streams, bro. So if Dave's trying to say, I'm just using his logic, right? Oh, there's a huge surge, the most they've been ever viewed and shit. It's what he's saying. This is the rhetoric he uses. So I'm going to say, by Dave's own Google Trend Analytics research, Double or Nothing is being illegally streamed maybe more than any. Like, I'm not making that claim. Dave's making that claim. So I know I'm being salacious there, but it's Twitter. You know, we got to be a little entertaining too.